What's up, brothers? Hope everyone's doing well out there. Finally got some halfway decent weather, so I figured I'll take advantage and I'll come out here, turn the camera on, and shoot the shit with you guys for a little while. But what I wanted to talk about in today's video was why you should never be afraid to show interest. Now, I'm not sure why this problem even exists, but it's a huge problem in the modern dating game. And it's not just with men. Women have this problem as well. Women are afraid to show interest in a man because it makes them look easy. It makes them look low value. And men are afraid to show interest in women because it makes them look like a simp. It makes them look low value, right? And the big terminology that people are using in modern dating advice is demonstrating high value, which is a really stupid term. High value, the term high value is the equivalent to the term alpha male. If you have to display it, if you have to say it, if you have to show it, you're probably not it. Okay, if you have to scream out that you're an alpha male, you're probably not an alpha male. If you have to scream out and display that you're high value, you're probably not high value. So I think it's better off just kicking that whole ideology to the curb. Now, here's something that you guys have to understand. First of all, there's three dynamics that can take place. If you're a single guy that's dating with purpose, and you're out there, you're meeting women, there's three dynamics that can take place. And I'm going to explain all three of them to you. Number one, you can be choosing a woman who's not choosing you back. Any forward progress in this situation, in this dynamic, is by definition chasing. You could call it simping. You could call it pickup. You could call it PUA, right? I'm not saying that you can't accomplish something, you can't chip away and make something happen. I'm just saying the situation is chasing. That's what you're doing. And typically it's not a good situation for you to be in. Dynamic number two is when somebody's choosing you and you're not choosing them back. Any forward progress in that situation is settling. You hear the term settling a lot. Right? So the goal of a pickup artist is to get a woman to settle for him. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It can work, but that's what he's doing. His goal is to chip away at a woman and get her to eventually settle for him. Now, believe it or not, I know a lot of you, this is a foreign concept here. But believe it or not, you can find balance in the middle. There can be harmony. You can be choosing a woman and she can be choosing you back. And when you have this situation, it's very easy. This is what you call chemistry. This dynamic is called chemistry. Okay? That's all it is. So that should be your goal, to find that. And the process that takes place in order for you to find that typically goes something like this. You as a man find a woman that you're choosing, that you're interested in, and you show interest. The reason why you show interest, this could be by you approaching her and talking to her. You could exchange phone numbers. You could go out on a couple of dates, but you're showing interest, right? You're actively showing interest. You're not trying to display high value so you can turn things around and get her to chase you like the pickup artists do. No, you're legitimately showing interest. And the reason why this is important is because if she's actually choosing you back, if she actually likes you, then she's going to undergo a process, and they all do this. I call this process getting ready for you. Okay? Simple, right? Simple. So when you start showing interest in a woman and she's interested in you, she's going to start getting ready for you. What do I mean? She's going to start doing her hair differently. doing her makeup, wearing her sexiest outfits. She's doing her best to be attractive for you. They all do this. You know, when a woman gets bit by that bug and she's being pursued by a man that she really wants to be with, she gets excited. You sort of light a fire up underneath her. She has a new surge of confidence that she's drawing from you and the interest that you're showing her. Okay? This is essentially what the term satisfying hypergamy actually means. It means a man that she's interested in is giving her the validation that she needs to feel satisfied. Okay, that's just how it works between a man and a woman. The man takes the lead. If the woman's into it, man, she steps it up and she tries to show that she's the woman for you. You know, she feels good about herself. She feels sexy about herself. And you're the one that's bringing this out of her. When this dynamic takes place, it's so smooth and easy. You don't have to do any PUA tactics. I mean, that shit's ridiculous. What I want you guys to understand, when you hear all of this dating advice, when you're collecting all of these different pieces of information from all these different people, display high value, indicators of interest, choosing signals, pre-selection, negging, push and pull, all of these different terminologies. You will look back once you outgrow whatever phase you're in right now. If you're in that phase, you will look back and laugh at yourself. When it comes to pickup, when it comes to being a guy that's, you know, habitually pursuing women and dating and trying to get laid and all that, if you're one of those guys, you kind of have to understand how you look to the rest of the world. You're basically the male version of the hot sex pot that wears, you know, the female sex pot that wears the skimpy dress and walks around the party trying to seduce every woman's husband. You know, everybody kind of hates her. You know, all the other girls are kind of like, you know, they despise her. Everybody kind of knows she's a homewrecker. That's what a pickup artist is. Like, that's how the rest of the world views those guys. I'm not saying it doesn't work, and I'm not saying most guys don't go through a phase where they do that shit, but that's how it's kind of viewed. I was watching a little documentary the other day, and I don't know what it was called. It just popped up on my feed, and I clicked on it. And it had these Eastern European guys that were visiting California, Los Angeles. It was like 100 years ago. And they documented what they saw and how these Californians, how these Americans were behaving. And they said, it's very strange. These Americans will pretend to be businessmen. They're not actually really producing anything, but they'll throw on suits, you know, expensive suits, and they'll go out and they'll go on business meetings. And these business meetings consist of them meeting for lunch and pretending to be rich, like putting on this show of being high value and rich. And they don't really talk much business. And then they leave. And they call that a business meeting. You know, and the Eastern Europeans didn't quite understand it. It's like these guys are putting on this weird show and pretending to be so valuable, when in reality, they're just regular dudes. Like they put on expensive suits and they pretend to be high value. Once you get out of the pickup artist phase, if you're in that phase, that's how you'll view it. You know, it's just it's a strange concept. You know, there was a time, probably in like 2014, when some friends talked me into joining some like Forex day trading group. I didn't know much about it, and they talked me into it, so I went and I showed up. And everybody in these meetings would be wearing expensive looking suits. They'd pull up in their raggedy ass cars wearing expensive looking suits. And they would go in there and they would try to talk money. I mean, these guys were broke as a joke. They would put on glasses to try to look smarter, put on these expensive looking suits to try to look eloquent. They would even be talking with a different vernacular, you know, like they were some sort of high class dudes or something. And me, after, you know, a few weeks of these meetings, I realized, you know, there's something off about it, and I kind of became like the Homer Simpson meme where he's like sinking into the bush, and I was just looking for an excuse to leave because I quickly realized whatever this shit is, I'm not with it. There's something inauthentic about this. It doesn't seem legit. So, you know, I ended up pulling out. Several of them stayed in that group for years, never making a single dollar. It was like one of those meetings for a multi-level marketing scheme, Avon or Herbalife or some shit like that. You know, one of those bullshit concepts. Eventually, that's how you'll look at modern dating and pickup and all of those tactics. You know, there's sort of a phase that men go through. And it's like, I think in the early stage, men will look at the concept of pickup, like going to clubs, meeting women, taking them home, having sex with them, you know, habitually doing this stuff. They'll look at it and they're curious about it. You know, they're a little bit of excited. They want to satisfy their hedonistic ego. So they get involved in it, you know, they're really into it. And they're like, you know what, maybe there's something to this. And then they go and they do it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You know, it's whatever, it is what it is. It's kind of a numbers game. You go out there, you have fun, you hook up with some women. And then after it's all said and done, you know, you look back at that phase and you say, well, that was kind of my cocky era. You know, I went through my inexperienced era, then I went through my cocky experienced era where I was out getting it all. And then you enter more of like a humble era, which hopefully you're at least by the time you turn 30. You know, you're in more of a humble era where you don't want to deal with a woman that requires pickup. Some of them do. You know, some people are damaged, and if you want to actually maintain the attention and the affection from some women out there, you have to use pickup tactics, right? You have to play these stupid games because she just doesn't know how to, like, lead a normal life. Some of them have to do that, but it's up to you if you want to push those type of women away and move on to the ones that you can actually show interest in and get things going in a normal way, which I think at some point that's what you're going to want. You're going to want more of a stress-free life. You know, you're going to want peace in your life, not the constant chaos. But it is what it is. So don't be afraid to show interest. You know, and women out there shouldn't be afraid to show interest either. Some dudes are shy. Some dudes need an extra push. So if you're a woman out there and you've got a guy you're interested in, just go ahead and show interest. Give him your phone number. Make it happen. All right, guys. Guess I'm going to go ahead and shut this one off. But I hope this video was somewhat informative. And that's about it for tonight, guys. Until next time. See ya.